Mr. Speaker, today I rise to address this body for my final time as the sole representative from the great and first state of Delaware. I remember how I felt back in 1988 standing on the steps of the Capitol as an intern with our then Congressman Tom Carper. From intern to caseworker, cabinet member, colleague, and now his successor, building on his incredible legacy fills me with great pride. Thank you for everything that you have done, Senator Carper. I also remember how I felt as I walked into this room as Delaware's Congresswoman, humbled, honored, and hopeful. Because, to borrow the words of the musical Hamilton, this is the room where it happens. It's where legislators have convened to debate ideas and uphold ideals. It's where we've heard legendary speeches from presidents, world leaders, and influential past and present members of this body. It's where Jeannette Rankin became the first woman member of Congress only after the House's month-long debate on whether a woman was fit for the job. And it's where I got to serve with luminaries like John Lewis. But it's also where landmark legislation was passed, from the Civil Rights Act to the Affordable Care Act to the bipartisan infrastructure law. This is the room where we, the people, have forged America's future. The first time the House of Representatives used this room was on December 16th, 1857, 167 years ago, almost to this very day. It was also the year the Supreme Court ruled Black Americans were not citizens under the law. So 167 years later, I stand here, the first woman and Black person elected to Congress from Delaware, on the shoulders of our ancestors, delivering my final speech before being sworn in as a United States Senator. My journey represents the promise and potential of America. When I decided to run for Congress, it was after the unexpected death of my husband, my love, Charles Rochester. His death shook me to the core. But then I ran into a father in front of me in the grocery store who had to put back grapes because they were $9. And in that moment, I realized I was still alive and I had more to give. I ran for office, having never run for anything in my life. And our small but mighty state made history in 2016 and sent me here to the room where it happens to deliver for Delaware. It's their voices, their stories, and their concerns that have informed my work each and every day. From advocating for a strong farm bill to protecting our coastal communities, to supporting the Delaware Air Force Base, Dover Air Force Base, and the Port of Wilmington, to bringing clean drinking water to communities like Ellendale, to fighting for small businesses hit hard by a pandemic and broken supply chains. I worked across the aisle. We passed bipartisan legislation to help support families, strengthen our communities, lower costs, and protect our national security. However, not every day in this room has been filled with progress. People almost always ask me, what was my worst day as a member of Congress? Indelibly etched in my mind is that spot in the gallery where I was trapped on January 6th, a day when insurrectionists attacked this temple of democracy, and I prayed for love over hate and hope over fear. And as terrible as that day was, it was also one of my proudest moments, because we came back into this chamber and we fulfilled our constitutional duty and carried out the will of the people. And at that moment, I recommitted to this work, to our democracy, and a hope for a brighter future. But let me be clear, the race to liberty and justice is not over. And in running it, we must remember the saying that the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but to the one that endures. And if we are to build a democracy, a planet, and a future that endures, it will take each and every one of us doing our part. So in closing, to all of my colleagues and friends, to the incredible staff in this room and in the cloakroom and in the building, thank you so much for your friendship and support. To my dedicated staff members who have been on this journey with me every step of the way, I could not have done it without you. To my family, thank you for your unyielding love and support through it all. And to my late father, Ted Blunt, thank you for showing me the true meaning of service. Dad once said, you become what you see unless you see what you want to become. Dad, in you, I still see what I want to become. And finally, to the countless Delawareans who have entrusted me with the responsibilities of this office and the next, I'm honored, grateful, and ready to serve. In the words of Hamilton, there's a million things I haven't done, but just you wait. Thank you, and I yield back.